VF squared is equal to VI squared plus 2A times delta X.
All right, there are the two VF equations.
Delta X equals, in parentheses, velocity initial plus velocity final all over 2 times time, close parentheses. Yeah.
All right, and then the last one.
Velocity, well, change in X equals velocity initial times time plus 1/2 acceleration times time squared.
All right, those are the 4 cake formulas. The fifth one, which I did not derive, but I'll just throw it up here. VFT minus 1/2 A. Again, some textbooks include that, some do not. All right, so if I'm trying to solve for time, so at what time is the ball hitting the bottom of the cliff? Which equation am I going to use?
One of them that has time.
Okay, so that narrows it down. So we're getting rid of the second one.
Yep. The third one, since you can divide t and then put it over on the other side of the equation.
We don't know what VF is. We don't know VF or time.
So
Which one?
Fourth one?
Yeah.
Fourth one doesn't have VF. All right, so again, in general, the first part, I'm solving for time, so it's got to have time in it. The second part is, I don't know VF, so it can't have VF in it. Now, you're in a test or quiz situation and you panic, just plug into all of them, see which one has only a single unknown and solve for it. All right, so if we plug into the third one, I got negative 20 equals 35t plus 5t squared. It is a quadratic equation because I have my variables to the second power there. My single variables to the second power. And I should have 2 answers. If it's a second order polynomial, it should have 2 answers. If it's third order, there should be 3 answers. So, how do you solve it?
Quadratic formula.
Okay. What do you have to do first?
Set it to 0.
Okay.
Add 1.
So I have 0 is equal to 5t squared plus 35t plus 20. Now in this particular case,
Take out
we could simplify it just a little bit if we wanted.
Take out a 5.
Say it again.
Take out a 5.
Yep. So if we divide everything by 5, I get t squared plus 7t plus 4. Now the biggest mistake I see some students make on this one is, I mean, the traditional way of writing the t doesn't have a curl in it. I mean, the traditional way of writing a t is like this, which looks a lot like a plus sign. I have seen some students write their t's like a plus sign and not write the plus sign, and suddenly it confuses them because it looks like you have 7 plus 4 instead of 7t plus 4. So just make sure you can read your own handwriting. All right, now what?
And write the formula out.
And the formula is?
Opposite of b plus or minus the square root of negative b squared minus 4ac over 2a.
Over just b squared.
Yeah.
Minus 4ac over
2a.
Now, before we actually get to the answers, I am expecting 2 answers. Are the answers both positive, both negative, or one positive, one negative?
The latter.
Okay. Is the absolute value of the positive answer bigger than or less than the absolute value of the negative answer?
Absolute value of the negative one should be big.
Say the absolute value of the negative is bigger?
I'm easily, we're looking at the graph.
Okay, so realize what is being solved here.
Oh, looking for time.
If I was looking at position versus time graph, let's see, it goes up and then comes down. This would be position versus time of that object, or height versus time, however you want to do it. Assuming the ground is at 0. So that would be 20 meters. That's what we're trying to find. The math problem thinks it's just a parabola. Is the positive answer or the negative answer going to be bigger in magnitude?
Positive.
Because we initially throw it upwards, basically from a parabola point of view, because we initially put it upwards, it's going to come out, kind of hit over here, but the negative answer assumes that if there's, if that's time is equal to 0, the negative answer is how far you go backwards, so that it's going 35 meters per second by the time it gets to here. All right, so expect one positive, one negative, and the positive answer should have a greater magnitude. All right, -7 plus or minus the square root of 49 minus 16 over 2. -7 plus or minus the square root of 33 over 2. And then let's actually get some real answers here. What are the two answers? Attention mounts.
Between 5 and 6, and then what?
We are gonna get, we off somewhere? So negative, oh, there's a mistake. All right, let's get this and then we'll show why I know there's a mistake here. What do you get?
Well, one of them is negative 0.6277.
Okay, and the other one?
I didn't get the other one.
-6.3722.
3322?
3722.
3722. All right,
They said negative.
so that first one was positive, that first one was negative. The second one was also negative. All right, so right there, that tells you if I have two negative answers, that means if I throw an object up into the air, it will never, the only way to have done it would have been in the past. It will not hit the ground, which does not make any physical sense. Now, I get that answer, I realize there was a mistake. Where is the mistake? Natalie?
I was wondering if this at the start, when you have the plus 5t squared, it was supposed to be minus since it was -10.
That is exactly it. So that negative there, which puts negative a, so that becomes negative, that becomes negative, so that becomes plus and a minus. So 65, -2. So it's gonna be somewhere around 7.5. negative, somewhere around negative 0.5-ish. I'll get better answers in just a minute here. Oh, you were just trusting, I was doing quick.
Calculator just died.
What'd you get?
Calculator just died.
Calculator died, excuse.
And what was the mistake? Sorry, I didn't get it.
Here, when I plugged in, my acceleration was -5. And I
It
plugged
should
in
be
+5.
Should be.
Oh, sorry, acceleration was -10 times 1/2. Should have been -5 there.
Okay.
Negative 5.311.
-5.3,
Negative 0.5.
-0.5311. All right.
And then 7.5311.
Now we've got another check that we can do. Because if the math is, I got some parabola here, I know that the zeros, the places where it hits that horizontal axis, that's gotta be, well, halfway in between it has to be the peak. So if I average those two answers right there, do I get halfway? Well, if I average the two, add them up, divide by 2, I get an average of 3.5. Well, what's happening at the peak?
Starts to go back down.
Right, so, of our quantities. So at the peak. That's still -10 meters per second squared. That's still 35 meters per second. What's the missing piece of information? At the peak.
Repeat the
Its
question.
position. We can find the position with the information we have.
With those two?
Well, no, don't we have those 2 points where it hits 0?
Oh, we're testing to see
You can find it.
if it's that 3.5 seconds. I want to check to see if that is correct, if that is indeed halfway between those.
Oh, okay.
At the peak, we know one other piece of information.
Time.
We assume we don't, we're checking this, we're just solving this a different way.
The acceleration.
Well, we have that already.
It would be
So
Yeah.
the final velocity somewhere.
What is the final velocity at the peak? Odd wording, what is the velocity at the peak?
0, because that's
Yeah.
hit 0 before it goes down.
That's the point when it's turning around. So that is 0 meters per second. So which equation will I plug into to find the time?
The top one.
Yeah, so plug it into that top one, I get 0 is equal to 35 minus 10t. Doing the fancy math here, we get 3.5 seconds. Which works, it's also that number right there. So, much more comfortable with this answer than the last one. It shows it is possible. I have two positive and negative answer, which I expected. And the positive one is a bigger magnitude from the negative one. Questions?
Is there a trash can in here? Okay. Proof.
Didn't know if you were gonna throw it from there or,
Absolutely.
All right, so let's officially declare chapter 2 done. And that means it's time to assign dates and neat things like that. So today is the 27th. Yes, indeed. So, homework quiz on chapter 2 will be on the 3rd. And the master set for chapter 2 will be on the 5th. The homework quiz, there, if you look on Blackboard under textbook homework problems, there'll be a set of homework problems. The solutions, I believe, are posted under supplemental material, unless I have that hidden for some reason. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 2 of the assigned problems, the ones that are not marked, not eligible for a quiz, and I can't remember if I did that for the first assignment or not. Occasionally you might run into NEFQ next to some problems, and that means not eligible for quiz. So the ones that are eligible for a quiz, I'm gonna take 2 of those problems, change the numbers, and present that to you as a quiz. It is in class, and I'm gonna set a time cap at 30 minutes.
And that's like when the quiz is, that's when the quiz is.
Yeah, that is a quiz. The master set, that is something to be done at home. You'll hand in, and on the 5th, there'll be a nice stack here of hopefully perfect problems.
Did we have a homework quiz 1?
No. Did you want one?
No.
Not
Okay.
particularly.
Questions? Then now, it's time to begin chapter 3. Chapter 3 will not take as long as chapter 2.